Hello people, um welcome to ENTV channel. By now you must have heard that former governor or ex-governor Ayodele Fayose was arraigned today in Federal High Court here in Lagos, where he was read and 11 count charges bordering on money laundering, abuse of public office, criminal breach of trust, and stealing up to the tune of 6.9 billion naira was preferred against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission of Nigeria, here in Nigeria rather. As you can see here in the video, Fayose today arrived court in the middle, amidst heavy security, which includes men of the EFCC and the Nigerian Police Force. Well, let's not take down the fact that Governor Fayose also was full of life while in court today. He was full of smiles, he was just smiling and he was just lively. Could it be he's not bothered by these corruption charges against him? Well, only time will tell that. Today he was arraigned before Justice Mojisola Olatoregun of the Federal High Court in Lagos, and the 11 count charges that were preferred against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, he pleaded not guilty to all of them. However, his prosecuting counsel is one prominent lawyer from the EFCC named Mr. Rotimi Oyedepo. Rotimi Oyedepo is actually one of the most prominent lawyers in EFCC, prosecuting counsel of the EFCC. And today, when the charges were read to Governor Fayose, or ex-Governor Fayose, and after he pleaded guilty, his defense counsel, Mr. Kanu Agabi SAN, who was also a former Attorney General of the Federation, informed the court of a motion he had filed, a motion on notice for the bail of Governor Fayose, who is the accused. He told the court that he has also served the prosecuting counsel same notice of bail, or same notice of motion of bail, and the prosecuting counsel, or the prosecutor, the EFCC prosecutor, affirmed this and then told the court that they were going to respond accordingly. Now, going into details as to what actually happened, what the EFCC has alleged, or what the EFCC alleged happened under the fraud that allegedly happened under Fayose as governor. It was said in the petition, or in the charge sheet, that on June 17, 2014, Fayose and his close associates, Sunday Agbele, were said to have taken possession of the sum of 1.2 billion naira for purpose of funding Fayose's gubernatorial election in Ekiti State, and that the said sum of 1.2 billion naira was proceeds from of crime, crime proceeds from the Dasuki Gates scandal. Actually, you recall the story of Dasuki, where he was the former national security advisor under former President Goodluck Jonathan, who was said to have laundered, or who was said to have disbursed some money illegally to some set of people, monies that were meant to fight terrorism. Fayose was said to have received a cash payment of the sum of $5 million, which is about 18 billion naira, from the then Minister of State, Senator Musili Obanikoro. However, let us quickly take a look at what we have here. Senator Musili Obanikoro was also implicated in this same petition. The question that calls to heart, however, is how is it that Fayose is now being locked up and is now answering questions as regards to this fraud case, while Senator Musili Obanikoro walks free like a free man, and is even contesting election. It becomes so very worrisome how, if truly this fight against corruption is even, or is it just about the opposition? One wonders, because ever since Musili Obanikoro actually defected to the All Progressive Congress APC, his case seemed to have died down. We've heard nothing so much about that, and one would be forced to worry why it's like it's a selective kind of prosecution or fight against corruption. Now, coming to, well, that I think that's a matter to be dealt with some other time. The then Minister of State, the then Minister of State for Defense, Senator Musili Obanikoro, was said to have circumvented financial institution and as stipulated by the law, and that he gave out the sum of, okay, sorry. I think I need to take that again. He gave out this about 18 billion naira to ex-governor Fayose, and he circumvented the bank, for which that amount of money should have passed. That means he did not pass through the bank. I probably had given it to him cash, because if he had passed through the bank, we know that 18 billion naira has exceeded the transaction limit for which an individual or a company can carry out in a day. So he probably had given it to him cash. And then again, the EFCC is insinuating, or is stating that Governor Fayose actually had retained the sum of 300 million naira in his Zenith bank account and took control of the aggregate sums of about 622 million naira, which sum he also got from as part of the proceeds from the Dasuki gate. I think Governor Fayose may have to employ the services of a very good lawyer to defend him from this, but because the petition from the EFCC was well worded, and is well worded, and they must have done some kind of research that may have made them arrive at that. Then on the other hand, Fayose was said to have procured two companies, the Privateer Limited and Steel Earth Limited, and retained their Zenith Bank and FCMB accounts, which aggregate sum or account balance reached as much as 850 million naira. And this same amount was said to have been proceeds from the same Dasuki gate. We know that ordinarily these monies, I think the thing here is that the money were carefully dispersed, and were carefully dispersed, I think that's the right word, carefully dispersed in such a way to create confusion, and they cannot be easily tracked, going by EFCC's petition as to what we are seeing here. The EFCC also said that Governor Fayose used 1.6 billion naira out of the money to acquire properties in Lagos and Abuja, and that this money was also part of the crime proceeds. We also saw here that they said he has also used another sum of 200 million naira to acquire a property in Abuja in the name of his elder sister Moji Oladeji. Now, um, the offense or these offenses, according to the EFCC, contravenes the provision of section 15(1) and 15(2)(3), 16(2), 2B, 16D, and 18C of the Money Laundering Prohibition Act in 2011. Now, to make it very clear, the charges against Governor Fayose were stealing, receiving money from Musili Obanikoro, former minister, criminal breach of trust, illegal acquisition of property in Abuja and Lagos, and illegally acquiring property in the name of his sister in Abuja, among others. However, Governor Fayose pleaded guilty. Now, going through the records that we have here, we realized something. Justice Mojisola Olatoregun, maybe for coincidence sakes, is EFCC's most preferred judge for who handles more of EFCC's corruption cases. We can recall when during the Patience Jonathan saga, where the 9.6 billion naira or so was found in her account, the same Justice Olatoregun was the one who handled that case and issued that judgment of complete forfeiture of the money in the account. While Fayose pleaded not guilty today, the case was actually adjourned till October 24th for the hearing of the bail application filed by Governor Fayose's counsel. Governor Fayose is actually said to be to remain at the EFCC under EFCC custody until Wednesday. You will recall that Governor Fayose had, on his own volition, walked into the EFCC Abuja office on Tuesday last week, and he was seen in the company of the likes of the current governor of Rivers State, Barrister Nyesom Wike, former Minister of Aviation, Mr. Femi Fani-Kayode, and quite a lot of others who came to show their solidarity. And Fayose was actually seen with the inscription on his shirt where he said, "EFCC, I'm here." I think we're trying to get that to show you. It's really funny how he appeared before the EFCC. As at right now, I think a lot of people have been mimicking that. A lot of people have been mimicking Fayose. That inscription on his shirt, on his t-shirt or polo, what do we call it? Right now, we now have a lot of people, giving us different designs of the shirt, where we have EFCC, I am here. I think we're encountering a little bit of problem in getting that for you, but I think you already know what we're talking about. Now, we also understood that Fayose refused to speak to reporters immediately after, as he was escorted out by the EFCC officials and the armed policemen. He had refused to talk to reporters at the court premises. Meanwhile, another point of recognition here is the fact that Femi Fani-Kayode, former Minister of Aviation, who is an ally of the ex-governor, was also in court, and Fani-Kayode had vowed to stand with Fayose in this trying moment. Wow, the friends in hard times, you may say. That's really difficult to get. Well, I think this is about the story of what actually transpired in court today. But just stay tuned to this channel. We'll bring you more exciting updates on this matter. We'll bring you more exciting updates on this matter, and we'll give you just if you have not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe, and by clicking the subscribe button and then clicking on the bell beside it, so you can get notification each time we make post. Thank you.